Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. So straight in the news tonight, viewers, an update for you. Finance Minister Devendranath Thakur has announced that the government's intention to reopen the TNT Hospitality and Tourism Institution in Chaguaramas. This institution, Trinidad and Tobago, has been closed in 2020 owing to COVID-19 restrictions and the non-payment of subvention by the previous government. The institution previously operated for around 20 years. Thakur also confirmed a similar development in Tobago. He said the more information will be given by the Trade and Investment, also the Tourism Minister, Mr. Maraj. And into our story tonight. Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisasa delivered the feature address at the second Caroni lease distribution ceremony at the Diplomatic Center on Thursday, where 110 leases were distributed to ex-Caroni workers. The historic event, the theme, Rooted in Resilience, represented a significant milestone in the government commitment to land distribution and agriculture development in Trinidad and Tobago. During her speech, the PM commended the ex-Caroni worker whose spirit was broken but was consistent in their fight for justice after Caroni Limited was closed down in 2003. Listen to this, viewers.
We are here where we are today because of Caroni 1975 Limited and its previous demarcations. Our land was built on that sugarcane and the fields where you all labored to send us to school, so that we today could come back to reward you and thank you. I'm sorry it's taken me 22 years, but nothing comes before its time. And so for generations, the people of Caroni rose before dawn. They labored beneath the blistering sun. They carried the weight of our nation's economy on their shoulders.
So Trinidad and Tobago, from 2003, we are in 2025. Imagine, look how long before Caroni workers got their land. Why and how come? Why and how come? Why so late when some of them died out already? Are we planning to go forward or are we planning to go backward? Where have we been for the last 9 years? Ask yourself these questions. Why no production in the last 9 years? Now, she said the story of Caroni workers is one that resonated with the country. Listen to Kamala.
Even through 22 years of waiting, some in faith, some in quiet despair, some who did not live to see this day, their spirits never ever broke. That same courage that once crossed oceans and built communities from cane fields endured through every season of hardship. Today that long vigil ends. That long vigil ends for some of you.
So viewers, she reiterated that promise made under the UNC administration will always be kept, as the first distribution ceremony took place earlier this year during August, where 200 leases were distributed to former Caroni workers. So before I go further tonight in our program, I want to ask one question to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. This has nothing to do with PNM, UNC, PEP, whoever. Our former Prime Minister, well, we had two Prime Ministers, so our former Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley. So I want to ask tonight, is he the leader of the PNM party still? I want to ask that question. Is he the leader of the PNM party still? If not, why is he demanding? Why can't Penelope Beckles run the P&M administration as she wants to and not as him wants to? He is in no place to demand anything from any politicians in Trinidad and Tobago, from the P&M administration to the UNC administration. I just want to throw that because I hear birds whistling now, you know? You know, I just hear birds whistling, doodly 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 doo doo doo. And it has come true. So tonight I want to ask, is Dr. Keith Rowley still the Prime Minister of the P&M party? Or is it Penelope Beckles? That is what I want to ask tonight. So moving along, viewers. Finance Minister Devendranath Tanku have stated that the government will soon be reviewing what happens to imported alcohol. Tanku.
Establishing the buffer as close as possible. That's the first thing. So we are looking at the issue even further. We couldn't take the actions because a lot more time is required, a lot more research is required as to how to do it without violating our international arrangements. 2, we continue to support the local industry in a multiplicity of ways, and that will continue. And 3, if you disaggregate what we have put down on the books as increased charges and fees and duties and etc., the impact on the individual bottle of beer, for lack of another comparator, is very small.
So viewers, on Monday the Minister Tanku said, under the new rates, duties on rum and spirit will rise from $79.25 to $158.50 of alcohol content. Beers from $5.14 to $10.28 by gravity, and cigarette from $5.26 to $10.52 per pack of 20. He explained the rationales behind the decision. Tanku also defended the implementation of a landlord business surcharge, which he said is totally different from the proposed property tax from the former administration. Listen to this, Trinidad and Tobago.
But you will be in charge a rate of taxation on your residence as if you were generating an income. That I thought, and our government thought, was a fraudulent method of taxation, because those were private residences. Your private residences were not generating an income, but you will be in charge on an income not being on a ghost income. There are lots of ghosts in this country. The landlord business surcharge is different. The landlord business surcharge is a charge on income generated from rental properties. That is what this is. It's not a charge on fake income. It's a charge on actual income.
And that is what I was saying in our previous show, Trinidad and Tobago. That is what I was saying. Residential property. The P&M administration made sure you pay tax on your residential home, a home that is not rented out. Clungenberg told you that your house is a rental house. He told you that. Your residential house is a rental house, and he charged you for your private home, but did not raise tax on rental property. I want you to understand that, because of the fact that he probably has a rental home, went to the parliament, brought a legislation, and saved all the tenants who have industrial rental place, like himself. But pass it on to you, the owners, who pay loan on your private home. UNC came in power, I believe they abolished that. What they did now is, once you are making an income from a rental property, that is what you are going to be charged on. But Brian Manning did not understand that. Brian Manning said it's another form of property tax. He feel the UNC is P&M. That is what Brian Manning felt. Misleading the public again. Misleading the public. But I wonder if we P&M people understood that. Or because it's Brian Manning and he said it's a property tax, we just went with the flow. Knowledge is power. Always remember that, Trinidad and Tobago. Knowledge is power. Brian said it's another property tax. What Brian didn't understand was the owners of rental property were making an income. And the owners of private home, well, Klongenberg tell them they're renting their private home. I wonder if Klongenberg rented his private home. That's the difference between ministers and ministry. So now, viewers, again, that is why I am here. To let you know the truth. And not because there is a minister and they name minister and they have power, they go come on a platform and they go brag them out and all they had to swallow it. Because all they know better. You don't know better, so you swallow what the minister say. So I wonder if there's something where a charge where it could be misleading the public. I wonder if there's a charge also. Brian Manning should fall under that. So now Trinidad and Tobago. Tanku also defended the implementation of the landlord business surcharge. Good? So he said it there. I hope you all understand that. However, contrary to a common misconception, the increased custom duty on local beers and tobacco will be levied on local products. First as well as imported ones. Further, the increased duties would be applied to local product first. I don't know why. Why didn't put that on imported alcohol? Because Angostura, we make local rum down here. So the import duty should have been on the alcohol that is coming into Trinidad and Tobago. So for me, if you had to add any taxes to that, it should have been the one coming into Trinidad and Tobago, not the one that is manufacturing right here. Now, in a way now, you're forcing everybody now to drink rum that is being imported. That is what you're doing. So technically now, the local labels and the local alcohol, the beverages, would remain on the shelves. While the imported one now will be drinking. Now, when you're importing now, you need US currency now to import. Where are we going to get the US currency now? Because Tanku himself said he got 200 when he had to travel, when he went to the bank. So I believe there should be some sort of review concerning the rise in alcohol price in Trinidad and Tobago. I understand they're trying to do less drinking and driving on the road. We understand that. We understand that. But the importation of alcohol, you need US currency from Trinidad to send to whichever country to pay suppliers, USD, to import their alcohol in Trinidad and Tobago. So why raise the local beverages instead of the imported one? That is one of my questions to Tanku. Hope we could get the answer soon. Trinidad and Tobago, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, Cara Brewery price increase following excise duty hike. This is what I'm talking about. Why? Why not raise the alcohol that is being imported and not the one that is manufacturing here? So this is something, now I don't drink but I have a problem with that. Locally manufactured, we shouldn't have a problem. More one.
We'll be right back.
At At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you. For you.
Welcome back.
So viewers, Cara Brewery has announced significant price increase on several of its popular beverages, following the government's 100% hike in excise duties on alcohol drinks, such outlined in the 2026 national budget. Several establishments has already begun to adjust to the news. A beer nation, located just off the highway at Warren Village, Charleville, the manager, Sharaz Mohammed, confirmed that the establishment has already adjusted its price in response to the announcement. Take a listen.
The information we have so far is from Carib. No information from Angostura or Brydon's, etc. from the rest of the companies. Carib Pilsner Stag suggested prices are $13, Heineken $22, the Caribbean thing like $20. Yes, so that is more like it.
So now Trinidad and Tobago, when asked whether the high price could affect customer turnout and sales, Mohammed said, people may react differently, but he isn't overly concerned about a major impact. Now, visited Gandhi's Emporium Limited at Sood Brothers Supermarket, both located along Endeavour Road, Shoguners. Owner Sood said the new price on alcohol beverages are yet to be determined as they continue to assess how the 100% hike will affect overall costs. So, right.
Once the supplier increases the cost for me, I will have to increase the prices. As of now, no prices have increased other than Carib and Stag because they have sent an increase invoice already. The cigarettes and the other alcohol like White Oak and other alcohol, the prices haven't increased as yet. So we are keeping the same prices as of now.
Now viewers, Finance Minister Devendranath Thakur, during his October 3rd budget presentation, said the increase from part of a wider initiative to boost national revenue, noting that exercise duties had not been adjusted for several years. For several years, Trinidad and Tobago. But still viewers, why is it that we who manufacture local alcohol, local beverages, has to face an increase when the imported one is not even seen an increase as yet? How come? Because now there's shortage for US currency. We have shortage for US currency. If we have shortage for US currency, there's supposed to be a rise in the importation of alcohol, not local manufacturers. Now, again, I would say, the budget was read about 2 days back, and already places have been increasing prices. Already on old stocks. And old stocks. This is something I could never understand, Trinidad and Tobago. I could never understand this. Old stocks here raising price. I mean, if you have new stocks, it's okay. You understand? Angostura or Carberry, they release a new price. Okay, from next week, this is the price you're paying. But about 2 days back, budget has been read. They say about a price increase. 2 days down the road, boom, shut. Everybody increase price already? Already? That's madness. That is total madness. I believe Angostura said from the 17th, which is tomorrow, they are going to release a new price list and they're going to adjust their price on alcohol. But I mean, beers and raisin already on old stocks. Why is this? And then now we want to be fair across the board. Everybody wants to be fair. Everybody wants fairness. But the thing is, you're raising price on old stocks. Old stocks. Come on, Trinidadians. It's we the same people have to come and sit down and buy that beer in order for it to make a profit. No courtesy. Then you say, oh, it's because of the price. Could you show citizens a bill that you purchased alcohol after the budget? No, you can't. You can't show the citizens that, hey, I purchased this right after the budget. So hence the reason why I had to raise the price. But you go tell me last week stocks all over raising price already? Nah, that's madness. That's madness. That is total madness. I have nothing against the price raising, but you can't tell me you buy stocks last week and the Monday budget was read and Tuesday you raised price on last week's stock. And who you're passing it on to? The same people that come in to support you. The very same individual that comes by you every day or every Friday. Them is the same people you're digging out. But everybody wants fairness. You see? Do so and like so. Call a good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Saeed. First, Mr. Saeed, I want to say congratulations to you and your show for being so effective. And the Trinidad must watch how effective your show is. Right? Gas going down by $1. That is to start with. Right? It was really related properly to your show as to how the Trinidad and the citizens wanted the gas to go. So your show is very effective, sir. So I'm saying congratulations to you and your team for what a great work that you have been doing for Trinidad and Tobago. Secondly, I would like the government of today now to put, this is something that I have said already on your show, and I'm saying it again because it's a very important thing. We need the auditors of this country to get working. We need all the ministries that spending money in the ministry to be audited on a monthly basis. In so many cases, let the government put a committee to the proposal of the money to spend in the ministry. We need that right now to stop excess spending and overspending. Okay? And thirdly, Mr. Saeed, I find personally alcohol, whether it's imported or not, should go sky high. You know why? Because people are really, they are stupid when they drink from a China to make from a Saieed Ali. You know what's people, get themselves in trouble.
My friend, I understand what you're saying, but please, there are little kids looking at the show, you know, I mean, be real. Trying to make out, we are going for a short commercial break, but stay locked on, there's lots more to come. Feel free to call in after the break, 238-6716 to voice your concerns and your opinion on the budget. More when we return.
We'll be right back.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real public concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you. For you.
Welcome back.
Now, trying to make, I want you to listen to this, eh? The budget was read Monday, right? About alcohol beverage price increase. And Tuesday, I had a friend who went in a bar, he and some friends, and they raised the price. That is how I mentioned why it is that some barmen would raise the price on last week's stock when the budget was read Monday. Tuesday, they paid a completely different price, and the interview that we had tonight was interview that my staff did today with some bars who would have to adjust their price. If you could hear clearly, they said they would have to adjust their price. So I didn't condemn the bar. It's just that the reason why I brought it up is that some friends went and they said, Saeed, budget read Monday, Tuesday we paid a different price to the price we paid Monday. So what is really taking place? You understand? Angostura is releasing a price list tomorrow. I believe Carib raised their price today. I believe today is the 16th. Today some prices came out. But the budget was read Monday. Some bars raised it Tuesday because their Tuesday price to their Monday price was two different price. So here's the reason why I raised the issue. But nevertheless, price released today, I believe from Carib, and whatever product they released, they produce in Trinidad. Tomorrow, Angostura, I believe, is sending out a new price list. Call a good night.
Great program from a great soul.
Thank you, my friend.
I'm glad you bring up this topic. We live in a society with selfish people. Selfishness. We are selfish. We only look after ourselves. Thank God for you, you know. You have changed the dynamics and the thinking of people in this country, you know, Mr. Saeed. In every aspect, in finance, and you come here night after night, financing this program on your own. You know why? Because you love this country.
That is the reason, yes.
You want to see your fellow citizens uplift the life, better the life every day. So God will richly bless you. But I don't want to talk much about the budget tonight. But that $1.something billion in revenue that they're going to collect from this alcohol tax and the custom tax and so on, like plenty money, you know.
Yes.
That is going to trickle down to all of us, the citizens
correct,
of this
correct.
country. Very sadly, you know, Mr. Saeed, when
yes.
you know all of this, you're a man in finance and so on. But I want to wish you all the best for Diwali, Mr. Saeed. God will richly bless you. And I wish you success with your business and your endeavors and so on. So Diwali greetings to you, your family, and your staff, Mr. Saeed. God blessings to you. Keep up the great work you are doing.
Thank you, my friend, and same to you and your family. So, Trinidad and Tobago, the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Automobile Dealers Association, Vishan Baba, has hailed the 2026 budget to be an excellent one. Listen to Vishan.
I think the 2026 budget was a surprisingly good budget, an excellent budget in terms of where it was focused. It was focused to assist people because we had a past administration that increased gas at every time they could, and they never reduced the price of fuel. Although they promised that when the price of oil goes down, they will reduce the fuel because they had this big subsidy before, and they would do it, and they have never done that. So, you know, it is surprising that our government came in and they saw it fit to reduce the price of fuel in the first case that citizens could benefit from.
Lowering the age limit on imported gasoline-powered vehicles from 3 years to 6 years is one of the most significant measures in the 2025-2026 national budget, according to Babwa. He says the move will reduce vehicle price, save foreign exchange and fuel, and bring more affordable options back to the market. Trinidad and Tobago, the way prices went up on vehicles, the middle class and poor man could have hardly owned a vehicle. They were struggling to save to buy a vehicle. Now, with the extension from 3 to 6, the middle class and the poor man now could own a vehicle. Question on how soon he can expect consumers to expect lower vehicle price. This is what Mr. Babwa had to say.
This is taking effect on the 1st of January. So even if people should import cars now, we have to still get clarity if they will be dealing with the shipping date or the date of importation, because the new law, we didn't get a legal notice out yet, right? A legal notice would usually come out stating if they are taking the date shipped or the date of arrival. So, but in any event, if this has to happen, it won't happen before maybe about February next year.
So viewers, citing an example, Babwa said the Nissan 80 wagon was in high demand until production ended in 2024, but dealers can now import the vehicle at substantially low price. He noted it operates on super gasoline and is not a hybrid or electric model. He added that there are many other similar vehicles such as the Toyota Axio can now be accessed more easily. And I believe these vehicles use gasoline. So the poor man can own a vehicle and maintain it now with the new gas price. Listen to this.
Well, the most, you remember this change was only for gasoline vehicles, not hybrid or electric. From my understanding of it and based on what was read in the budget, it was basically for the gasoline vehicles. So the gasoline vehicles would be like the 80 wagons. We might get some Wing Road, some Fielders, some Axios, Civic, some of those vehicles. You won't get the full range of vehicles that's available now, because most of the vehicles that are available now that we use here are the hybrid ones. So it will just be a few models that we'll be importing. Of course, the models that we have here, which is hybrid, you also get them gasoline, but the gasoline might attract the tax. So it won't make sense bringing those, and the cost would be almost as if you're buying a hybrid car.
So now, viewers, on the reinstatement of tax on luxurious electronic vehicles, Mr. Baba noted that this would not affect lower and middle class earners. One more time. I'm going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, we'll have that video for you.
We'll be right back.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
So viewers, on the reinstatement of tax on luxurious electronic vehicle, Mr. Bawa noted that this would not affect the lower and the middle income earners. Listen to this.
No, it shouldn't, because most of the vehicles that would have a value of over 400,000, right, that would qualify for the tax, you wouldn't have much. You have about 32.5% increase as the duty and the VAT on it. And in any event, those vehicles are costly, and who could buy those vehicles? In most events, they could pay the taxes also, because these are really for the higher income earners of the country. So if somebody's buying a vehicle for $1 million and they have to spend $200,000 more on taxes, well, so be it. If you can't afford it, then buy something cheaper. So it won't really affect the, as I said, the middle and lower income persons in any event.
So now, viewers, switching gears, former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith has described the 2026 national budget as shocking, saying it placed citizens in a state of relief. Sharing his views on previous budget presentation under the former PNM administration, Griffith said the latest fiscal package represents a notable shift in priorities.
After 10 years, we now have a budget from, instead of the Grim Reaper, from Santa Claus virtually, with things that can actually make citizens feel that we are going in the right direction. How it is they're going to balance that budget by reducing so many different items that would have generated income, it remains to be seen. But it is something that would obviously have the vast majority of citizens, many of them who do not know where their next meal will be coming from, feel a sense of happiness and belief that we are going in the right direction.
Viewers, turning to security matters, Griffith also criticized the decision to place the National Operations Center, the NOC, under the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, calling it improper. Now, he would have experience in this, viewers. He noted that the NOC originally established following recommendation from the 1990 coup inquiry. It was a work in progress when first developed in 2015 and was officially launched in 2022. Griffith.
So when it is you take the NOC now and we have formed it and now we are putting it under one arm of the protective services, we are now doing the same thing again. The only difference is we have spent $80 million US for a system that is so scientific. The technology there is mind-boggling, and it is not just to enhance the response of the police service based on an E999. You're not going to spend $50 million US to improve your 999 system.
Griffith recommendation that the NOC instead falls under another arm of protective service to ensure greater balance and oversight. Griffith, one more time.
It should be returned under either the Office of the Prime Minister, under the National Security Council, or even under the Ministry of Homeland Security, where it can then be utilized to assist other arms of the state to improve their productivity.
PSA refutes opposition 9% wage. Now Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this. This is a little bacchanal story here. President of the Public Service Association, PSA, Felicia Thomas, have stated that the government 10% wage increase offer is a victory for public servants. She thanked the government for keeping the promise made during their election campaign and said that they have now opened the doors for negotiation to progress. In response to a call by opposition MP Brian Manning to address this development, the PSA president described his comment as unfortunate. Listen to this.
Brian Manning sat in the Ministry of Finance and should have known what exactly was placed on the table on behalf of public officers. Comrades, this morning I have before me written documentation, not documentation of the PSA, but documentation of the official offers made by the Office of the CEO to the PSA.
Now viewers, Ms. Thomas detailed the offer made by the previous administration, stating that the PSA protested the initial 2% wage increase for the period 2014 to 2018. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, this is coming from the president of the PSA, and I want to let you understand this. I will say it again. So don't let these opposition MPs get into all your head. Mrs. Thomas detailed the offerings made by the previous administration, citing or stating that the PSA protested. They had to protest the initial 2% wage increase for the period 2014 to 2018. So again, it's clung and but misleading Trinidad and Tobago as number one. Now, she recalled that a 4% increase was subsequently put on the table, adding that the government effectively shut down the negotiation process. How many of you all remember that? All you remember that? I'll try and look back for that video. The PSA president also rejected an alleged claim by the opposition. Listen to this.
I found it very disingenuous of the opposition to stand before the public, workers, civil servants, to say that they had an offer of 9% on the table for the very same period, trying to minimize what has been won on behalf of public officers.
So Trinidad and Tobago, again, as I say, this is the president of the Public Service Association, and she is telling us, Trinidad and Tobago, that the opposition is not telling us the truth. Imagine, they want to lie about that and all. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago. However, Ms. Thomas says she has already written to the Chief Personnel Officer, the CPO, to begin wage talk and wants negotiation concluded before Christmas so public servants can have their money in their pocket for the holidays. Now, I'll tell you something. Nothing is wrong with that. This might be the only Christmas in 2 other Christmas went by that the public servants and them might be enjoying it. Unless you want to carry out your children one time for the month like Marvin. I wonder how Marvin feeling now. I wonder how Marvin is feeling now. Marvin, when you're here keeping your media broadcast, brother man, don't come with no out of time and thing, you know. You see Cluggenboot and Brian Manning don't start their nonsense already? Brian Manning thought rental money was residential money. But it's sad, you know. It's sad a big man like him could come out and tell Trinidad and Tobago that. It's really, really sad. It goes to show that they would say anything on national television for the people to run with it. But the people have to understand the truth. The whole truth and nothing else but the truth. That's all. Like I said, I'm not for no party, you know. No party fund this program. No commercial ad fund this program besides Saieed. That is why I could talk about the two party. The right and the wrong of two parties. Now there are PNF people and there are UNC people who might want to fight me down. You have your rights. But my job is to tell citizens of Trinidad and Tobago the truth about what is taking place. So switching gears, Trinidad and Tobago, switching gears. The Minister of Planning, Economic Affairs and Development and Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Dr. Kennedy Saratan Singh, says the National Insurance Board, NIB, funds would have become defunct by 2033 if the government had failed to take action. Well, I believe this would have happened under the previous administration. Saratan Singh defended the move by government to take action to gradually increase the retirement age, along with increased contribution, revealing that the National Insurance Board is facing a financial crisis. How did this happen? Trinidad and Tobago, how did this happen? I thought Cluggenboot always said we na boom. He noted that the failure to take action would have resulted in an unwanted outcome. Listen to this.
The budget would have pointed to a number of things, would have tried to resolve some things that have been outstanding. NIB is one of them. That actual report has been sitting in the Ministry of Finance since probably 2019. And that actual report spoke to the fact that the NIB fund would have become defunct by 2033 if we didn't take action.
But I thought we always in a boom. I thought we always have money. Minister Saratan Singh also pointed to an aging population and a widening financial gap as key contribution to the crisis. Listen to this one more time.
One is that we are living in a population that is aging. And so it is costing NIB now currently $2 billion annually, more than they're taking in. So you have to address that disparity, and Justin could speak to those things more than I can. The other thing, of course, that it points to is that people can be productive long after they come like me and we turn 60. And therefore we have to talk about how we can move the retirement age where people can be more productive in their later life.
Now Trinidad and Tobago, the Minister Saratan Singh stressed the need for the government to gradually raise the retirement age, pointing out that even though regional territories have started the process. During the budget, TANCO announced the starting in January 2028, the age for a full NIS pension will increase by 1 year every 2 years until it reaches the age of 65 in 2036. So viewers, there is more to come on that story, but we are going to wait until further key personnel speak on it, and then I will address you on that. We are going for a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to hear about India reaffirm stronger ties with TNT when we return.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, India's High Commissioner to Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Pradeep Singh, has reaffirmed his country's commitment to defending culture and diplomatic ties with Trinidad and Tobago. Speaking at the 30th annual Diwali Nagar celebration on Tuesday night, Dr. Singh commended the National Council for Indian Culture for its ongoing effort to preserve the culture and the spiritual heritage of Diwali Nagar. The 2025 celebration theme, listen to this.
I am glad that the 38th annual Diwali Nagar festival is being celebrated under the inspiring theme of welfare of the world, highlighting unity, cultural preservation and the collective upliftment of the society. Through various cultural events and charitable initiatives, the Council has not just preserved our heritage, but has also contributed to the well-being of the society. And it is a best example of how culture and community serve hand in hand, embodying the true spirit of Diwali.
So now, viewers, the High Commissioner also urged citizens of East Indian descent to take advantage of the opportunity.
After the announcement by Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi ji, for issuance of the OCI card, the Overseas Citizenship of India card, up to the 6th generation of the diaspora, we have organized a workshop with the support of Diwali Nagar and NCIC last month, where we received very enthusiastic response from our communities. Once again, urge the diaspora community to come forward in applying for the OCI card. Our team in High Commission is at your disposal in facilitating you all in submission of these applications.
The High Commissioner also announced that the establishment of a new organization to assist the NCIC in future events. So Trinidad and Tobago, an establishment will be set up, and he or his country probably is going to fund the NCIC in the upcoming years, maybe, who knows, but we are still thankful for it. Police are planning to visit the families of 2 men who are suspected to have been on board a boat bombed by the U.S. off Venezuela coast on October 14th. The family of Las Cuevas resident, Chad Joseph, says he and a man identified only as Samaru were on board the boat on their way back to Trinidad and Tobago from Venezuela when the incident occurred. This was the 5th time the U.S. troops has destroyed a boat by missile off the coast of the South American country. Acting Commissioner of Police, Junior Benjamin, stated that police were unaware of the alleged TT connection in the latest incident until Joseph's family spoke with media. So viewers, hopefully we are going to get some results from that. They're going to find out if and what really took place with that incident, if they were really on a drug boat or not. But again, I would say, the technology that the US have in modern time, I'm going to tell you something, it's way better than what we have in Trinidad and Tobago. I could tell you that. Why? Because I travel on often. I have friends in the FBI. I know about the system they have. I know about it. So when you hear we as police officers down here say they can't do this and they can't do that, remember when, I believe it's Marlene McDonald, no, not Marlene, I should him again by the bald head one for PNM said, what Trump could do we? Camille Robinson Regis said, what Trump could do we? What we got was a license revoked. That's what Trump could do we? Shut down the oil negotiation. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, we are lucky today that we did not get sanctioned. Viewers, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, on Friday night, we are going to have our Diwali show right here in Trinidad and Tobago. So viewers, locked on Friday night, you're going to see our 2025 Diwali show. You know, normally we do it every year for the last 8 or 9 years. Until then, viewers, good night.